Alright, this actually looks probably as intended. Wake up, sleepyheads. We're just about to land. Don't be telling me that. It's gonna give me, like, PTSD to my 3 flights in the last 28 hours or whatever it was. Huh? What? When did we fall asleep? I feel like I've been sleeping for hours. Where did we end up anyway? Oh, things weren't quite fully loaded initially there. And we got to enjoy some more new music. I guess my brain is still sleeping, because I've got no idea where we are. I'm completely lost. Why don't we fire up the Expedition Gadgets map and have a look? We're in Detroit! What in the air continent? Wait, what? We came all the way to the air continent? Lively Town is way over here, so... It is pretty far, huh? All he had to do was take us to some little island near the town. How could you dump me here, Lapras? Me, you're the one who gave these kids passes to the air continent. I did? I never even looked at the passes that I bought. Sorry, kids. This is your first trip overseas and everything. Look at me, ruining your first big trip because I wasn't paying attention. We're totally fine with this. We came all this way, so let's at least have a look around. Just for a little bit, then. Well, this is Barham Town anyway. It's got a cafe and shops and all, just like back in Lively Town. You can go exploring dungeons from here, too. All the dungeons on the air continent can be reached from right here, in fact. We're not going to any of them today. You got that? I'll have a quick look around to town and then get you two back home safe. Alright. I could crawl into bed and pass out like at any moment here, easily. That probably won't be going that much longer. Overall, what was your favorite event that you enjoyed the most or found the most interesting here in New Orleans? People keep on asking me about, like, my favorite part of the trip since getting back here, and I straight up don't really know. I don't know if I have an answer to that. Collections of my contract is in violation of several child labor laws. Yeah. I shot through the heart and you're to blame. PS5 has no games. Yeah, I'll pick up some here. Shall definitely pick up some that I'll play at some point. Because gotta get through the current game queue. And then in terms of things to play on the PS5, I'll probably do Last of Us Part 2 first. Because I don't know how long it's gonna be until the PC port. And my goodness, the PC port of Part 1 was so dog shit. It was so bad. And I don't want to go through that again. So probably just play Part 2 on PS5. And then, like, my family was also into the TV show, and they'd probably be interested in seeing a little bit of the game, so probably do that. And also because that Guzma nerd was like, I want you to do, like, something that you want to play on PS5 before you do, like, Final Fantasy 16. Then I'll probably do Final Fantasy 16. And then Bloodborne. And then I don't know. I don't know when I'll get the chance to get to, like, PS5 stuff, but when I do, it'll probably be that order. Last of Us Part 2, Final Fantasy 16, Bloodborne. Most likely is how it's going to go. I thought this was Reshiram at first, I'm gonna be honest. My brain's frazzled. Can I have the sparkly on the ground, damn it? You know that feeling where you just want a sparkly on the ground and interact with some random person's chest? My name is Wishcash. I once ruled a pond. Oh, do you want to hear about it? I do. Damn you, Wishcash, you're not gonna tell me about it. Yeah, baby Reshiram there. My name is Shaman. My flowers bloom when I sense gratitude. Wow. Cool. Anyway, so there was the stuff with the Jazz Fest. We ended up going to the restaurant that Guzma works at, which is a pretty fancy place, by the way, and made potentially the best fish that I've ever eaten. Like, it was so good. I ate a Parmesan crusted flounder. It was so good. So I had cheese crust, and I love cheese on things. It was so good because Guzma made a Parmesan crusted jackfish that I caught out at our lake cabin last August, and I wanted to try the original here, so I tried a Parmesan crusted flounder, and it was so good. What are the other things that we did while we were in New Orleans there? All the recent things in my memory are all the Texas things now. is what I'm remembering the most. And the biggest thing that we did in New Orleans was the Jazz Fest. Oh, we went to to a Mardi Gras museum where they make like a whole bunch of floats and stuff for Mardi Gras and maintain the current ones, and we got to see a whole bunch of the things that were there. That was really cool. That was definitely neat to see. Harmonia, Klexos. Don't you think we've seen enough to call it a day already? We should be heading back home. What? Already? We've barely seen anything. It'll start getting late if we don't turn back soon. We should set out now. Are you serious? That sounds terrifying. I know. I don't want to think about it. I do want to think about who's among us. Pokemon being turned to stone like that. Pokemon are being turned into stone? Excuse me. Sorry, but could you explain what all you are talking about here? Oh, about Pokemon being turned into stone? It just keeps on happening around here. Pokemon showing up, rock solid stone. They've been turned into stone? Like, it's not that they became stone, but they've been turned into stone? Because that would mean that someone is turning them into stone, right? That's what it seems like. Not that anyone has any idea who would do such a thing. Or how. I was trying to think of, like, some joke that I could make about who would be doing it and how. But my brain is frazzled, and I just cannot for the life of me think of something. Rumor has it that it's the work of the Flaming Phantom. The Flaming Phantom? I doubt it's really a phantom or anything. Probably just a Pokemon like us, but some say that they've seen him near the human Pokemon. I had a human on the mind because I was like, it's a phantom, unlike a Pokemon like us. And then I had it on the mind of, like, what if in the real world people were like, it's a phantom, but what if it's a human like us? Like, these aren't terms that people would use, but in the Pokemon world, it's what they use here. I had human on the mind, and then my brain autofilled human in that moment, and some say they've seen him near the Pokemon that were turned to stone. And they say his body is wreathed in flame. So rumor has it that he may be burning Pokemon until there's nothing left but ash. And that's got everyone all spooked and calling him the Flaming Phantom. Hashtag not sponsored by Flaming Hot Cheetos, but could be. There are other rumors, though, about Pokemon being turned into stone. All kinds of Pokemon have been falling prey up until now, but they say recently it's legendary and mythical Pokemon that are being targeted. So I've heard, anyway. Somebody was saying they saw the Flaming Phantom near the Mystical Forest. Time Travel Lake is in the middle of that forest. And the mythical Pokemon, Celebi. That's why everyone's all in a lather over the rumors again. I'm wondering if it might have come for Celebi next. But the Mystical Forest is frightening. Nobody wants to go investigate if it's true. Whoa, what was that? Something crashed down there. There's a huge cloud of dust. It's coming from the Mystical Forest. The Mystical Forest? Everyone, please calm yourselves. My name is Arkin, and I am a member of the Expedition Society. The Expedition Society? The one on the water continent? We Society members will go and investigate what is happening here. We ask that you all stay calm and remain here. We will. Rock you! We will. Better not think of counting us out. Of course we're going. No, you're not. It's too dangerous for a pair of green kids. Didn't you hear what they said about the Flaming Phantom and Mystical Forest? I can't let the pair of you face that kind of danger. Not on your first day. Besides, you'll probably just end up getting in my way. Yeah, but think of all the things you won't be able to do if you're alone out there. You can't do this on your own, and we won't hold you back. You have to let us help, please. I really don't have much choice. I'm starting to get really lightheaded. I'll bum rush this dungeon and I'm going to go, like, conk out. Fine, Arkin of the Expedition Society. I'll leave this up to you for now. Part of me is also just debating about calling it, like, here pretty soon. Like, would this be a good time to do so? I don't know. Maybe I can probably do the dungeon. I want to make for the Mystical Forest from that road there. I appreciate your help. Just doing our job. Come on, kids. We're going to the mystical forest. Once we're in the dungeon, Harmonia will take point for the group. Player privilege. I'll watch our rear. Let's do it. If there's anything to be found in the mystical forest, we'll find it. And now everyone's like stopping in like right now as I'm debating about calling it. Azure Samurai and Regibum both stopping in. Hope things are going well today. And yeah, it has been a hot second because I've been away here. Been away for some time and only just got back home earlier today. And yeah, we went to the World War II Museum, that's right. And that was definitely really cool. And yeah, flounder is the same fish that my dad caught when we went charter fishing, where it stormed on us and I came back completely drenched. Maybe that's one photo I'll share. is me completely drenched coming back from charter fishing when it kind of rained on us. Maybe I'll just chill here telling stories and go do the dungeon next time. Is what I'll do. Let's see here. Oh, we went to the gardens. I see a whole bunch of photos of there. Let's see. So, yeah, I was quite soaked here. Send this in photos. And then, let's see here. Oh, I see Guzma sent me a DM about turning off the PS5. Your PS5 wasn't turned off properly. Yeah, I haven't seen that message come up, and you wouldn't think that would come up just from seeing the boot on. But yeah, so by the time that we were back from charter fishing, I looked like I just jumped into the water. Like, I was completely drenched. Even my shoes were soaked. Like, this... I had to go home and hop into a nice shower from there. So yeah, the charter fishing was kind of interesting, going out into the bayous and stuff there. And it felt almost like a weird video game map, where it's almost maze-like in the bayou areas. And the charter fishing guy knew exactly where he was going, kind of snaking through the different areas there. But yeah, it stormed on us, and I got completely drenched. So there was that. Yeah, I sat out in the front. I got the full experience. Everyone else didn't have enough courage and sat in the back. But I sat right in the front there. But yeah, let's see here. But I think I missed some things. Now I'm missing context. Sir, a second plane has hit the time travel lake. You have missed this. Well, I'm sorry that I'm not doing this all that much longer here. But tomorrow I'll probably cut this up into parts. Well, today, because after midnight, and then slap it up on YouTube. And then you can see the stuff that you missed here, like all the stories that were told. Because we actually did a decent bit this stream. I've been streaming for about an hour, 40 minutes. So I actually got a decent bit done this stream. Do I want to just go for it? I feel a little bit lightheaded. I could honestly, like, just call it a day anytime now. Screw it, we in it. 2 more of those. Give me an Oranberry. Don't let your dreams be dreams. What do I have for a wand? Petrify wand? Oh, there's that random blast seed that I picked up from the ground. That might be handy, actually. Just doot. Just doot. Any secret jobs in here? Make your memes come true. Oh, I will. I don't see any secret jobs in here. But I found a max elixir. It's my lucky day. Found an Oranberry, but I'm just gonna shove them in that chest. So, anyway, yeah, I did a whole bunch of things in New Orleans there. Guzma, once again, greatly appreciate the hospitality of you and your family. It is much appreciated. My dad got the bed. I just slept on the couch. Just still a whole lot better than sleeping during a LAN gaming event, so it was no problemo. You hospitalized you? Is that a term? I almost read that as hospitalized. Which, wait. Yeah, I guess if you just replace like the A after the T with an I, it would be hospitalized, or however that's spelled. It's the least we could do. Well, still very greatly appreciated. And then, no, I actually want to save first now that I think about it. And I gave like the Spark Notes plot summary of everything that we did across the trip before. Now I can go a little bit more in detail. Hi, Brody, how have you been? How was your vacation? Yeah, everyone's stopping in right now. I'm like really, really beat from it taking a day and a half to get home across what should have been 2 flights back to back, turned into 3 flights with staying at a hotel that was accommodated for us for just like a few hours trying to sleep and then immediately going back to the airport. And I might only be running on a few hours of sleep here. I'm going kind of crazy. I was debating about calling it soon, but I'll finish my stories here about the trip as we do the mystical forest. How about? So yeah, that's all the that's a lot of the stuff that was done in New Orleans there. And then we started heading towards Galveston Island, was the case, which is an island in Texas. Like, it counts as part of Texas, off the coast there. It's pretty close to the shore, so there's some bridges that connect to it. But we got onto a ferry to get across there, and the ferries are completely free. Like, it's covered by taxpayer money. It's counted as like part of the highway system, which is pretty neat. So we drove onto the ferry and went to Galveston Island to meet the ex-neighbor from when my family still lived in, from when my parents, I guess, I shouldn't say like my family in general, just my parents lived in Texas and Houston there. Our neighbor from those days now lives on Galveston, so we went and stayed with him for a couple days. Well, a couple nights to be more specific, so basically only one full day that we were there. And it was kind of interesting, but it was very overcast all the days that we were there. So we did walk down around the beach a little bit and gather some shells that I could put in my plant pots and stuff at home, but couldn't really go in the water. Like, it was just crashing waves and overcast, and we didn't see the sun for probably like a solid week. Honestly, we were on the island for a couple days, but I'm remembering this theme. It's so good. Mystical Forest, you love to hear it. But yeah, it was interesting spending some time on the island there. And my dad, when he worked around in Texas area for Pepsi, he did a lot of installs for lots of different places, either for like some of the machines there or HVAC related work, I believe. What am I equipping again? Wand Expert? Okay. I forget what Wand Expert does, something with wands. I'll get to use my wand a little bit better, I guess. So we would sometimes stop by places along the way that he had done installs in, but never gotten to see properly or just hadn't seen in the years since. So we went to this place called The Spot, I believe it was called, this little restaurant. It was almost like a weird amalgamation of houses. It looked like a Bethesda game that was bugging out and all these different buildings were coming together in like this weird way, and it was actually really cool, and apparently he did some installs then there back when. It was kind of neat to see. We ended up going to a place called Moody Gardens, which is, they basically have like these 3 massive pyramids that are all different things. We went to 2 of them. We went to the gardens and we went to the aquarium, which, why is my controller not working again? Unplug it, plug it back in. Oh, there we go. Clutch Performer. Sure, Intimidator, and the garden pyramid. It was basically just like a whole rainforest ecosystem in there, and it was pretty massive. They had all sorts of wildlife in there. They had all sorts of insects and stuff, and they don't use any pesticides or anything. They just use other creatures, like they have it be like a self-sustaining ecosystem, save for the highest level critters that they sometimes will feed, like the birds, or they had a Komodo dragon in a specific enclosure in there. And it was really cool to see. I'll definitely have to post some pictures of that in the coming days when I'm awake and available enough to do that. Sure, Confusion Guard, I don't know. But yeah, so it was just this whole interior glass pyramid that was just a whole rainforest inside, and it was so cool, and everything was labeled for what it was, and some history behind things. That was really cool to see. And we went and saw the aquarium after that, which wasn't as cool, but it was still pretty cool as well. I thought it was pretty neat. And there was multiple different tanks of different things, so there wasn't just like one big ecosystem like there was in the rainforest one. They had some pretty big tanks with several different things coexisting though, which is pretty neat. Or they had one of those tanks where you could touch stingrays and stuff. My dad ended up doing that, and I did at a future place that we went to somewhere on mainland Texas. I don't remember where. Everything's blurring together. But yeah, so that was pretty neat to see. And then we ended up going to, I believe it was Kima that we went to there, which is a bit outside of Houston, to go check out a car and boat show. Because while here in Alberta, we'll have car shows and like antique vehicle car shows. Well, I guess that's still under the umbrella of car shows. You know what I mean? Car shows and places where you can see all these antique vehicles in Alberta. We're so far inland, you're not going to be seeing classic boats. So it was really cool to go to this car and boat show because all these classic cars on the shore, and in the water there's all these old-fashioned boats, and a lot of them were made out of wood. A lot of them were from the early 1900s and were just these wooden boats and were in really good condition. It was really cool to see. There was also a game warden ship there that they'd let people come on and tour around and see like the consoles and all the fancy stuff they have going on there. That was pretty cool. Pretty neat to see that. They unfortunately didn't have very many trucks there. They only had like 3 or 4 antique trucks there. There was hundreds of vehicles, and yet there was only like 3 or 4 antique trucks. So I was kind of hoping to see a truck that was like mine or like my dad's, but we just didn't really see that there. I was really surprised considering how large of an event it is, but I guess maybe they just don't like antique trucks in Texas and just really like antique cars. I don't know. Don't know what was up with that. There was a lot of really cool old cars, but yeah, it would have been neat to see a truck that was like mine and chat with the owner about it, about the story behind it, and if they have any tips for me restoring mine. Is the case. Outdated? How what? I'm not entirely sure what you mean, I'm sorry to say. Punch. That crit. But it was still neat to go to. But it was at the end of the trip that I was planning on spending a couple days hanging out with St. Jam, since St. Jam lives in Texas. But I think the dates got mixed up. I think he didn't quite realize the days that I was coming in. I'm pretty sure I told him, don't tell him that. Don't tell him that, but I'm pretty sure I told him, and I think that he got the dates mixed up. And turns out he was going to another state to visit family during the days that I was planning on being in there and hanging out with him. So it's like, oh, well, what are we gonna do now? So we ended up getting together to go to that car and boat show together. So from Kima, my dad and I went and picked him up, and then went to this car and boat show, and then took him back home on our way west again. Was the case. So we hung out at that show and chat about the different vehicles and stuff, and just caught up since it was our first time ever seeing one another in person. So it was cool hanging out with Sate there. And I got a few pictures of us together. I won't post any of those in photos unless I have Sate Jam's permission, since like he's never been seen in person on this channel. I'm not gonna like dox what he looks like without his permission or anything like that, unless I get the go ahead. But yeah, holy crap, that's a lot of Grimers. But yeah, that's an aromatisa your brain just saw as a nondescript pink blob. Alright, let's punch some more. So yeah, we hung out at that show there. One of my dad's friends ended up coming along to that as well. Oh yeah, and I forgot the part where we met up with him a previous day. He has a Mexican background, and he brought us to a Mexican restaurant and treated us to some stuff there. It's pretty nice. And you know, we met up at this car and boat show, so we had a little bit of a crowd together there. We checked out some of the signs that oh yeah, that would be Ditto, that's right. Check out some of the signs that people had in front of their vehicle, where it's like, this vehicle is a so-and-so, so-and-so, and some people would have a little graphic of the vehicle and list all the specs. And Sate is someone that does graphic design, thought that they were pretty interesting, and we want to get those made for our trucks one day. So he was saying like, oh, reach out to me and I'll see about getting one of those made for you, and maybe I'll reach out to Sate Jam, and his graphic design being his passion. And maybe see about getting something made. Might be kind of cool. But yeah, so then we headed out to the hill country, and everything's blurred together. I believe that we were staying in New Braunfels for a little while, which is kind of like a smaller German area of Texas. So I was kind of hoping that there would be some German places and people that spoke German there. Not really. We even went and ate at a German restaurant, and the staff did not speak German. I asked, ich habe gefragt, sprechen Sie Deutsch? Aber sie haben gesagt, dass it was only the owner that would speak German. apparently. I don't think the owner was in. So I did end up speaking German to a decent few other travelers and stuff if I'd overhear people speaking German at like a hotel or other places that we went to, like we went to a plantation home on our way from Houston to New Orleans initially that I forgot about because everything's blurring together. I ended up speaking to a German couple there. And our hotel in New Braunfels, I ended up speaking to a German couple there a decent bit. And they would always ask me after I strike up a conversation in German if I'm from Germany, since I was raised with it, so I don't have one of those English accents where it's like, ich bin from aus, or whatever the heck. Ich bin aus, or whatever the heck butchered way people would say it, or some weird accent. So a lot of people would assume that I'm from Germany, but nope, I'd say that we're from Canada, and it was fun to strike up conversations and stuff there. But yeah, we spent some time exploring around New Braunfels. I did find a small German shop, not in New Braunfels, but in Houston, that they actually spoke German in, which was kind of neat. But, let's see here. And my dad, whenever he referred to it as New Bronzeville. And I had never heard of the place before, so I started referring to it as New Bronzeville, assuming that's what it was called. And when I was asking, like, directions or telling people, like, where we were at or something like that, and I was referring to it as New Bronzeville, I would get, like, funny looks from people, like, what the heck are you referring to? Because that's just the way my dad called it, even though that's not quite right. But, yeah, one fun fact you remembered because you saw Grimer, but Grimer's French name is Tadmorph, which is a portmanteau of testimorph, which means pile of snot. Oh. Charm's ability transforms into bright sun, which does nothing for its stats as far as you know. Yeah, I never knew what it did. I started out playing Pokemon in Gen 4. Well, Gen 3 if you count Mystery Dungeon, I guess. But I never knew what the heck it did. So, yeah, we spent some time there, and we just went out to different places from there. So on Cinco de Mayo, we went out to San Antonio, and we went to a Mexican market there. And it was cool. It's cool to say that we were in San Antonio for Cinco de Mayo. And there was a lot of people there in the Mexican market there, and they were playing live music and dense crowds and all sorts of stands with all sorts of things there. I ended up picking up a guitar pick made of stone from one of the stands there because I thought that was kind of cool and it looked cool. It should last a long time. Oh, cutscene. So we did that. One of the rivers in the areas of New Braunfels, my dad and I went tubing down. Just like going on a tube and riding down the river for a couple hours. That was fun. We went to Austin for a day. What do we do in Austin again? Everything's blurring together. And my brain is still rattled right now. But we went to Austin for a smidge there. In Houston, we ended up going to the Pepsi plant where my dad used to work, and there's still a couple people working there that he knew and he was catching up with and stuff, and they were surprised to see his son now that's 25 years old, and they were chatting with me and all that. And some of my dad's friends in general that we were hanging out with around the Texas area would tell me like, oh, last time I saw you, you were 2 months old or 6 years old, when we technically visited once that I barely have any memory of. Like, I remember seeing you when you were this big, or just when you were a baby, and all these people that were interested in getting to know who I am today. And they all were really nice and all that. But, let's see here. I think Flower Gift does something else you just don't remember. Fun fact, if you use Charm during the Acid Rain glitch in the game, soft logs. Oh. And now I know what the Acid Rain glitch is after our Pokemon Platinum playthrough where we got it. Want to know more global ability that benefits grass types in Sunny Day better? Chlorophyll. Yeah, that is a pretty good ability there. Seems to me we've come pretty far. I see something over there. You're right. Let's go check it out. Over there. Isn't this one that was flying through the sky earlier? My goodness, to use Fallout terms, you're basically like a eagle with a magnifying glass in terms of your perception if you know that that's that exact Pokemon from that distance we were at before. It crash landed here? Harkin, this is a real Pokemon, isn't it? But it's gone all stiff, as if... no way, it's just like they said. It's been turned to stone? Yes, it definitely looks that way. I don't recognize this Pokemon, though. His name is Latios. He is a legendary Pokemon. What? A legendary Pokemon? That's right. This is the first time I've ever seen him myself, though. Weren't there 2 Pokemon flying through the sky when we saw them? We'll go look around for the other one. Yeah, you do that. He's leaving the kids on their own. Even Latios has been turned to stone. What does all this mean? Latios doesn't live anywhere near here. So what was he doing so far from home? Was he running from something? If he was trying to run away, he didn't make it. He was turned to stone. Who, though? Who could do this? I'm never going to figure this out alone. If the Dene were here, I could have her send my questions back to everyone else. But can't we talk to the Dene with our Wonder Gadget or whatever the heck it's called? Never crossed my mind that I'd run into another of these cases here, of all places. I know the chief wanted me to try and find out more about these incidents, but... Wait a second. What did I just do? I sent the 2 of them off alone. Those kids won't be able to handle whatever did this to Latios.